Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Last Matinee. And this is an Argentine horror film from director and writer Maximiliano Contenti, who takes the idea of this big, beautiful, old-school cinema. And it's a rainy day, it's a crappy day, and you find a variety of people there to watch this cheesy American horror film. And, you have a little kid that snuck in, you have an older gentleman there, three friends, one of them's really crushing on this girl that showed up to the theater, and you have this really awkward date going on, to be perfectly honest, where the woman in this equation's not exactly the most likable person. But all of a sudden, people start getting murdered. So obviously, this is the Argentine sequel to Phantom of the Megaplex. Just kidding. This is not a sequel to that Disney Channel original film, which I watched way too many times as a kid, especially for Halloween, and have watched it once as an adult. And, Mickey Rooney's in it. But, getting back to this film, Contenti is really going for a very specific feel, and I want to give a shout out to composer Hernan Gonzalez, whose synth and keyboard style and organ style score really evokes a particular feel. It was funny because my fiance was out in the kitchen. She made this question does this have The Guest vibe? Because it has that kind of similar score. And then you have cinematographer Benjamin Silva, and between them and Contenti, they're creating this look, this rustic look, this very textured old school look and feel of Italian giallo horror films, and I love it. And they're setting up everything in the theater. You have people walking through the lobby and stuff like that, and you see these posters. There's opera from Dario Argento. I'm just I see that hint there, and it's definitely that feeling because the gore in this, when this killer is messing these people up, is crazy. I'm not going to give any of them away, but they're grotesque. And he has one particular MO that is, I've seen things like that before in movies, but, it's still disgusting and creepy and gory. And it has that feel. And then it's funny because they're watching a very much monster horror film from America on the screen the whole entire time, but you're also getting a combination of this giallo horror and American slasher film. And there's some great camera work, one particular shot's amazing of the little kid sitting in his seat, the camera's off here and you see over him somebody getting murdered in the background. It's very subtle. There's no music every time something bad happens. It uses that deep focus, like Mike Flanagan, to really capture some of the creepy, unnerving things going on in the background. And, this film, it's not perfect. There's definitely moments where the logic just gets yeeted out the window, because there's certain times where it's how did they not hear that? And sometimes this spatial reasoning doesn't always feel consistent, because there's one moment where you realize how close two of these sets of people are, and you're just how did they not notice anything? And everybody's talking in the theater, making me mad. There's certain, none of the characters in particular are deep or particularly interesting. Our main protagonist, as I guess you could say, is the young woman whose father is the projectionist, so she's there. She's the only one noticing, something weird's going on. And it takes everybody way too long to realize something weird's going on. And if you can get past all of that, there is some crazy over-the-top horror, scares, and gore waiting for you in this film. If you love a good giallo horror film, this is emanating that feeling and that vibe. So if you do really appreciate those kinds of films, like myself, who's a huge fan of Dario Argento, this is definitely plenty to have fun with from a horror film perspective. Like, I don't think a whole lot of people will watch this and enjoy this that aren't horror fans, but I feel like this really does great homage, but also delivers on at least a few levels to have a really solid quality film here for you to enjoy and get some scares out of. But those are my thoughts on The Last Matinee. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.